Right, we got Phil Spencer and the battle for Xbox's soul. Should be interesting.
First time, let me now unveil Xbox.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. Xbox stepped on a rake again. For the umpteenth time in the past decade, Microsoft has found itself on the wrong end of bad news. And as usual,
I'm just going to say straight off the bat, these guys cannot catch a break. I'm telling you, these guys cannot catch a break. Some of the stuff they're doing, releasing, like, it wasn't only just a few days ago, 5 days ago, last week? It got how many staff?
Self-inflicted. Just as Team Green was starting to gather some positive...
Hey, and one thing as well, Fallout series TV show was sick. That was fire.
Momentum, Fallout is the biggest show on TV, boosting all the Fallout games along with it, the upcoming launch of Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and that made...
I haven't even heard, I think they released a tweet, didn't they? But I haven't even heard a bit about marketing for Senua's Saga. Nothing at all. I'm hearing people are even worried about that.
Be the
and I wouldn't be surprised.
Kind of prestige, single-player, narrative-driven, third-person action-adventure that the brand has long lacked.
Would you give your life for these outsiders?
The next Xbox showcase was also announced for June 9th, where we might finally see the long-anticipated next entry in the Gears of War series, the next entry in Call of Duty, and more. Xbox brass torched the morale of customers and quite possibly its own developers alike by announcing the closure of 3 studios, Tango Gameworks, Arcane Austin, and Alpha Dog, and the consolidation of a 4th, Roundhouse. Fans were...
But is it just me, right? Or, especially with the Arcane Studios with Redfall, that game did poorly, absolutely poorly. I think they were always going to shut that studio down regardless if it did okay. I'm not saying that it was right, but I think they were going to shut these types of studios down. I think Xbox are more going into a publishing role. And they want to condense as much as possible in terms of staff and costs.
Were quick to point back to recent and now hypocritical seeming quotes from Xbox executives, such as marketing boss Aaron Greenberg saying last year that just axed developer Tango Gameworks' Hi-Fi Rush was, quote, a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations.
I wouldn't even take these guys seriously. Anything that they tweet or anything, I just wouldn't take it. I would just take it with a pinch of salt at this point.
Couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. And in the 2021 Xbox documentary Power On, Sarah Bond said the leadership team asked themselves how to learn from and not repeat the same mistake of acquiring a studio, in this case, original Fable developer Lionhead,
Lionhead Studios,
only to later shut them down.
Yeah, well done.
Used Fable.
And 1 year ago, in the wake of Redfall's disastrous launch, Xbox boss Phil Spencer said, quote, one thing I won't do is push against the creative aspirations of our teams. When a team like Rare wants to do Sea of Thieves, when a team like Obsidian wants to do Grounded, when Tango Gameworks wants to do Hi-Fi Rush, when everyone thought they were probably doing The Evil Within 3, I want to give the teams the creative platform to go and push their ability, to push their aspirations, end quote.
Yeah.
At best, those once reassuring quotes ring hollow today. At worst, they're outright lies. We've come a long way.
Listen, the problem with Xbox is their ass is being kicked by PlayStation and Nintendo. Phil Spencer said on the Kind of Funny podcast, he was like, exclusives don't sell consoles. Don't listen to what this guy says. Exclusives do sell consoles. I have a PS5 right here. My Xbox is sitting behind me, collecting dust. I don't even use it. I do not even use it at all. Because there's just, the games are absolutely shit.
Way from Xbox fans once proudly decreeing, in Phil we trust, and posting photoshopped Dark Knight-esque I believe in Phil Spencer buttons online. Awfully, Bloomberg reports that Microsoft might not be done making cuts, so this may very well get worse before it gets better. For developers, that would mean further job losses.
Xbox are pretty much just preparing themselves, and people are not have come to terms with it yet. They're going to shrink down those studios and become a major publisher at this point. Their best bet is to focus on PC, which they are doing. And I don't think we're going to see it. I think next generation, after that, we won't see another Xbox console. I don't think anyway.
And for gamers, that might mean another possible Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price increase. So how did we get here? Why can't Xbox stop tripping over its own 2 feet?
They're
and
just
with
a meme
the
at this
Xbox
point.
organization growing so massive over the past half-decade, and its reach extending not just to consoles,
69 billion.
but to any device capable of playing video games, can the soul of Xbox even be saved? I spoke to 2 former longtime Xbox employees separately, and both lamented the current state of the brand. One told me prior to this week's awful studio closure news, quote, I had lengthy conversations with a bunch of Xbox founders, and we all came to the same conclusion. It's no longer Xbox, but Microsoft Gaming.
Yeah, that is essentially where they're going. I don't think Xbox runs Xbox anymore. I think it's actually the execs of Microsoft. Phil Spencer is just there. Listen, Phil Spencer's kept Xbox in a good race, and I think he should have some blame because he is the head of Xbox. He is the boss, and under his watch, studios have been shut down. Where are the games? The AAA games, the ones that you are releasing, the absolute crap.
Ouch. The other chatted with me at length after the Bethesda bloodbath and believes Xbox is now too big to quickly or easily get its house in order. Quote, there is just too much surface area. You have effectively 3 huge companies at play, and Microsoft never really finished the integration with Bethesda. And Activision is like 3 times the size Xbox was. They added, quote, Xbox 360 launched with a few hundred people.
Yeah, Xbox 360 launched with a few hundred people. Last I heard, Xbox is now almost 30,000 people. That's from a former Xbox employee.
Last I heard, Xbox is now almost 30,000 people. And that growth has led to, in the opinion of the Xbox veteran I spoke to, increased oversight and meddling from further up the Microsoft food chain. Quote, the reason this seems so inconsistent with previous Xbox leadership team statements is that these decisions probably aren't being made by Phil. This is all getting dictated by Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and Microsoft CFO Amy Hood, and it all stems from
dictated by Microsoft
CEO
Satya.
Quote. The long-tenured ex-Xboxer continued, quote, the situation Xbox was in when they made this call was much different. They couldn't keep consoles in stock, making money hand over fist with Game Pass growth. The Activision acquisition seemed like a no-brainer. Now, console sales are down, post-COVID recession, Game Pass slowing. The acquisition was more costly and time-consuming than anyone expected. And the focus on fighting the FTC probably cost them time they would have spent thinking through.
I just wonder, what are they going to do with all these IPs? It's just you've hoarded all these IPs, right? The reason why they brought, who was it? Remember, they realized Starfield was going to go to PS5, and they brought the studios, Bethesda. You have all these IPs. What are you planning to do with these? Because you're not releasing them; you're sitting on them. Well, we're not going to see them anytime soon, anyway.
And studio implications. I 100% believe this is a board-level decision.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Xbox was a huge profit center, so Satya approved a huge merger. Now, games are slowing and Microsoft's stock is skyrocketing, and there is no way Satya is going to let Xbox drag it down. This is all my opinion, of course, but I'm fairly certain these are not decisions being made only by Xbox leadership. End quote. That's not to absolve Spencer for his role in all of this, unlike the tone-deaf...
Yeah, Phil Spencer has to take some blame. He does have to take some blame. I've always said he's a master of nothing. If that makes sense. I hear videos and podcasts and stuff and saying, "Oh, this stuff Phil Spencer could do." He's the boss of Xbox. Of course he could. Or of course he can. But then at the end of the day, I think the higher ups in Microsoft have looked at this and said, "Listen, we need to make cutbacks. We need to do this. We need to do that to recoup some of the money that they've acquired from these studios."
Someone think of all the multi-millionaire executives' response of former Xbox higher-up Mike Ibarra. Spencer is, after all, the person in charge of the entire organization. The buck
Phil Spencer's a great cheerleader, and that's about it for me. I'm going to be blunt on that. He's a great cheerleader, and that's about it.
With him. The Bethesda and Activision Blizzard acquisitions happened on his watch. As such, he is no more shielded from criticism for being, by most accounts, including my own for the record, a very nice guy, than the star professional athlete is for underperforming on the field or court, despite regularly signing autographs for kids before games. But no matter who's to blame for the weight of Activision Blizzard seemingly tipping Xbox's scales out of balance, it's now fair to wonder if and how Spencer can save Xbox's soul.
He can. They've lost the console war. He knows that. Xbox knows that. He knows that. So the only route they're going to go down is, for me, is, like I said, either publishing or just solely focusing on PC and just more maybe next gen of a console, next generation, and that's about it. I think they're going to become major publishers. They can't catch up with Sony. They can't catch up with Nintendo.
Is Xbox?
Look at this. I know I just said it before. My Xbox is over there. I don't know if you can see that. Right there, collecting dust. I don't use it. Don't use it. It's just a waste. Absolutely waste. Yeah, it's just pointless.
A gaming brand
Where are your
means
games?
Anything to gamers anymore? Can it stand toe-to-toe with Sony and Nintendo? And if the answer to those questions is yes, then what defines Xbox? Is it
Xbox's greatest generation was the 360. And from that point on, it went downhill.
Xbox Game Pass? Is it big exclusive franchises like Halo, Forza, Gears of War, Fable, and maybe, should they end up being exclusive, The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom?
They won't be exclusives. They won't be exclusives.
Seamlessly through PC, mobile, console, cloud, and handheld support that's invisible to the end user? Can it be all of these? Should it be all of these, or does Xbox then become a jack of all trades, master of none? After all, when you think of either PlayStation or Nintendo, you arguably think of one thing and one thing alone: consistently incredible exclusive games.
Exactly.
That's it.
We could have killed you. Maybe you should have.
If the board is pushing Xbox in this direction, will Spencer push back? These decisions, no matter who's making them, are costing Xbox...
I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Spencer steps down or leaves at the end of this year. Because his time with Xbox in general it's been very, very, very up and down. And if Microsoft execs are running the show, they're going to ease him out the door and bring in someone that has and wants to see their vision rather than Phil's. That's Spencer's.
An incredible amount of both talent and community trust. Spencer knows that, and it's up to him to fix it. To this point, I would have argued that up until this past week, Spencer's 10-year term as head of Xbox could be summed up as such: gamer-first initiatives like backwards compatibility, accessibility, cross-play, and Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, that's one thing I highly rate Xbox on, and Phil's done on that aspect of things, is backwards compatibility. Can't you play almost any Xbox discs, any generation on the new Xbox? With PlayStation, you can't do that. That's one thing. Xbox is more consumer friendly than PlayStation.
But he has yet to deliver either the single breakthrough blockbuster game that captures the zeitgeist, or the steady flow of high-quality exclusive games that breed loyalty to a platform. Now, though, he will likely be remembered primarily by how he handles this moment. Can he organize a 5-company monolith, Xbox, Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard, and King, into a single entity that makes both gamers and shareholders happy?
Yeah.
Is that even possible? If he can't, the Activision, Blizzard, King acquisition may prove to be more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, that was a cool video by IGN for once, to be fair. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Spencer leaves at the end of the year or even sooner, to be honest.